Commanding General Yahanna will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle. Finally, the truth about King James, a black man who helped to preserve and safeguard the Bible. Live September 29th, 2023. Commanding General Yahanna live at King James Castle in Scotland. Come on down and support the I.S.U.P.K. UK. Lift the glass, come and join the brotherhood and drink with the ancient as we celebrate and keep the Feast of Tabernacles for our King Yahushua in King James Castle, bringing his crew of heavy hitters. Commanding General Yahanna will put 12 chill General Muhammad scripture breakdown class up against anyone, against any biblical scholar, untested, unchallenged, I.S.U.P.K, undefeated. Leviticus chapter 23, the Feast of Tabernacles in a black man's castle, hosted in Scotland, the United Kingdom, UK. Commanding General Yahanna will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle, Thursday, September 28th, Scripture Breakdown class. Friday, September 29th, there will be a King James Castle tour, also a Johnny Walker Distillery tour, and Friday night, the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles. Saturday, September 30th, we will have camp on the streets of England. Sunday, October 1st, the UK Cookout. Monday, October 2nd, the Warwickshire Castle Tour. I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yahanna at King James Castle in England. This is an absolutely monumental, historical event. Want
us to stop. But man, don't we deserve a shot? Don't we deserve a shot to be the Lord's people? Israel, let's do it!
All right, let's close it up. Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Barakatham to all the Akim, Yahweh Shema Atham Bashem Yahshua to all the sisters, the Akwathium, with Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, started 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible. And the truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true Jews. That the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. We're not affiliated with any other Christian groups. We're not affiliated with any other Christian churches or Hebrew Israelite groups. 1 West is home of the truth. If it's not 1 West, it's not the truth. What we're going to get into tonight, everybody been talking about it. Everybody been talking about it. Every time I look at this video, I just can't help but, just crack a little smile. Every time I done seen this video about 11 times and damn near all the angles and whatnot. I've seen the video and every time I see a new angle of it, it's like it's the first time I'm seeing it. You know what I'm saying? This video is just it's just taking the internet by storm, and coincidentally we just went through a storm. We just went through a storm here in DC. You know what I'm saying? Up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. We had a tornado over here. But you know what? The storm, the show, not the show. The work must go on. The work must go on. And the video I'm alluding to had a little something to do with a boat and a chair, and some drunkards. You know what I'm saying? And it has everything to do with with people in their kingdom expecting everybody to bow down to their will. All they had to do, allegedly, was move their little boat so that, you know, a few hundred people can get off of a bigger vessel. That's all they had to do. But did they do that? Nah. They just thought, you know, some darky was overstepping his bounds and trying to get them to do something they don't want to do. They own everything. This is their world. This is their kingdom. And how dare you tell me anything other than, you know, what you want to get me. That was their attitude. And if anybody knows anything about, you know, how the way Esau is, especially and particularly when they're on a boat, like there's special, I ain't gonna say special laws. There's laws specifically for boaters. Like, you know, you can't have a certain amount of alcohol on a boat. And if you have X amount of alcohol on a boat, why? Because a lot of this stuff happens all the time. And how many black, you know, people, you know, own a boat, own a yacht, any of these, you know, swimming vessels. We don't get down like that. Not really. So when they was out there on a yacht, and when I first seen the video, I knew they was all drunk. I knew that, but that's no excuse. What was really going on was somebody who was not them, someone of another nation. And when I say someone of another nation, I'm not talking about people who were born and raised in America or have citizenship in this kingdom. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people of another race, someone of another race. And even if it was someone of that race, even in that capacity, you have no business telling them what to do. Why? Because it's their world. So what happened was someone of another nation told them that they had to move their stuff. They had to move their stuff, and so that a larger vessel, move their little boat so that a larger vessel can come and dock. They've been told this, and from what I understand, it was that whole incident. Prior to that incident, and I'm talking about the Montgomery brawl. Prior to that incident, it was about 30 minutes to the dude in the white shirt. The dude in the white shirt got on a smaller vessel to go over to the dock to tell them, move your stuff. They wouldn't do it. He moved it for him. If you see the videos, like I said, there's a ton of videos out there that led up to it. He's actually moving the vessel. He's moving one of the vessels, trying to get it out the way so that the larger ship can dock and have all the people that's on the vessel debark, come off the ship, right? So this is what they was doing. And how dare he do that? That was the attitude of that. And the Esau was how do they say, beside himself, and laid hands on him. He attacked him. That vicious thug attacked a worker, right, when all he was doing was doing his job, and he was doing it as effectively as he could. He didn't. There's something in the black community that says, "Don't start no stuff, won't be no stuff." All he was doing was trying to get home. Isn't that what cops say? That's all they want to do is get home at the end of the night, get home the way they left out. That's all he was trying to do. But he was attacked by a vicious thug. And then he sent up the bat signal. I don't know if you know what that. He sent up the bat signal. He took his hat, sent the bat signal up. Let everybody know, hey, it's about to go down. He sent the bat signal up. And with that, he lit, some courage. He lit some courage up and all the other people that saw the bat signal and came to his aid. Why? Because something we should know. Courage is contagious. What? Just like cowardice. Cowardice is also contagious. There's a running joke, going on in the black community. If one black person just gets up and runs, and there's a crowd of black people, what's bound to happen?
We taking off too.
We taking off too. We ain't got to know what the hell is going on. We just seen one nigga running. Hey, he may got the scoop. I ain't staying there to find out. You know. And I wouldn't even call that cowardice. I call that, hey, he knows what's going on. Let's get the hell up out of here. He knows what's going on, or she knows what's going on. Come on, let's bounce. But in this instance, especially, I wouldn't even say, honestly, I wouldn't even say him throwing up the bat signal. I would say the brother that jumped in the water and swam all the way over there. And if you didn't know, like you see him swimming, and then he kind of slows down towards at the end. Do you know how far it was away from the dock? Dude, it was a good. It looked like a good football field. Looked like a good football field. He got over there. It looked like some yardage. Looked like some yardage. He jumped in the water and swam because what you were seeing was a zoomed in picture, a zoomed in shot from that first joint when it all started off. It was zoomed in. I saw it when it backed up, when it zoomed out and whatnot. He swam pretty a pretty good distance. I would say right there. That was one of the first acts of courage. And then everybody else seeing what's going on, and they answered the call. They answered the call. Now the Bible is littered with acts of courage, and has a few instances where it's an act of cowardice. And if someone is, like I said, cowardice is contagious, just like courage is. If you see your brother doing something that is courageous, you're more apt to do something like that. You're more apt to get involved in that courageous act. If you see someone doing a cowardice act, you're more apt to doing that cowardice act. We're gonna start. First of all, anything on Facebook, YouTube? We're gonna start with 1 Samuel. I'll say 17. Salakia. 1 Samuel, hold on. Yeah, 17. 1 Samuel 17. Just start at 1.
1 Samuel chapter 17.
In verse 1.
Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 1. The book of 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 1. Now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle, and were gathered together at I.S.U.P.K, which belongeth to Judah, and pitched between I.S.U.P.K and I.S.U.P.K and
Azekah. Okay, and Ephes the men.
And Ephes the men. Verse 2. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah, and set the battle in array against the Philistines.
All right, so what was going on? You got the Africans setting up their camp on one side of the valley, and you had Israel, Saul and his army on the other side, right? And they met in the middle to do battle, right? That was the purpose of what's going on. That's setting up the picture of what's going on. We at war. Israel is at war. What happens in war? People fight and people die. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. Right? So that's what's going on right now. Now, anybody who goes to war, if anybody who knows anything like a real war, I'm not talking about, like a rap battle or a corporate battle or, a battle to get that last spot, that the promotion at the slave. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone who is out to kill you and you're out to kill them in an actual war. You know what I'm saying? That is the purpose of an actual war. It's to make them die for their cause more than they make us die for ours. They're in that's the mindset right here. All right. Now let's keep reading. Now when you're in war, there is an expectation of some winners, some losers, some casualties, and some victories. There's an expectation of it. Just think about that. Keep that in mind. And think about this, you know, the topic of discussion, courage and cowardice is contagious. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 3. And the Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side. And there was a valley between them.
Right? Keep going.
And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines.
The African stinking Hamites, right? The Philistines is a tribe within the nation of Ham, right? Keep reading.
Named Goliath of Gad, whose height was 6 cubits and a span.
Now, 6 cubits is anywhere between 8 and 10 feet. Now, this wasn't, you know, a Manute Bol type of, you know, giant, because, you know, Manute Bol, he's if anybody knows who Manute Bol is, he has his son is actually, well, he was a basketball player. His son is actually in the NBA as well. He's Bol, I forget how tall. I think he's like 7'6" or something like that. I think they're both about the same height. But if you look at them, they're like giant sticks. You see them, you're only going to be in fear of their funk and, you know, how ugly they are. That's about all you're going to fear. Right. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna, there ain't much to fear in them. Even that Victor Wembanyama, you ain't going. He's like 7'6". You ain't fearing that. On the other hand, you know, you got someone like Shaq, who was, you know, who's 7'2", and even still, you know, Goliath is bigger than Shaq. He's a whole 1 or 2 feet bigger than Shaq. Now think of someone who's, you know, Shaq size bigger and as athletic as him, and who can move. And if you ever look at, you know, a lot of giants, I would say, like, you know, if anybody knew who Andre the Giant was, or, you know, the Big Show or something like that, them guys were big, but they didn't move. They didn't move like anything. You know what I'm saying? All you had to do is, you know, stick and move, and you pretty much, all you got to do is wear them out. Yeah. But this dude was big, tall, agile, and fearsome. He's won many great battles. Many great battles. So not only was it, you know, was he a giant of a man, he was their champion. He was their champion. All right, keep reading.
And the Philippines stood on a mountain on the other side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side. And there was a valley between them. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gad, whose height was 6 cubits and a span.
Anywhere between 8 and 10 feet tall. Keep reading.
And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail. And the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass.
Hold on. Let's see how much. You said 5,000 shekels?
Mm-hmm.
That's about Salakia. Give you the answer. And his coat was 125 pounds. His coat was 125, just about 125 pounds. If anybody walked around, now I've done this before. If anybody walked around with an extra 125 pounds on, you ain't moving fast. You know what I'm saying? You ain't moving anything. But this was his body armor, and he moved still like the wind. Still moving like the wind. Keep reading.
And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing a shield went before him.
And one bearing a shield went before him. That was his shield bearer. Someone took down his shield for him. How much was that? 600 shekels?
600 shekels of iron.
Of iron.
Right. And
the 600 shekels, his spear, just his weapon. All right. Weighed about 15 pounds. Now, if you don't know what 15 pounds is, for a weapon. See, I was in Esau's military, and their weapon of choice is an M16. That's about 7 pounds. That's about half that weight. It's about half that weight. And you're just, you're just holding it, not swinging it, because the head of the spear was about that much. You still had the shaft, the wood, which made it even heavier. Now just imagine, just that's your weapon. And then you have, the 125 pounds of weight on your shoulders and all the other, weight on the helmet, the shield, and you the champion? You killing people left and right? Keep reading.
And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array?
So he's coming out. He's saying, why are you coming to set your battle out in array? What does that mean? So what? I appreciate that. What does that mean? He's saying, why are you coming out here to challenge me? Why are you coming out here to challenge me?
Right.
Who are you to challenge me? That's basically essentially what he's saying. Who are you to challenge me? Why? Because he's seen a lot of battle. Not only has he seen a lot of battle, he's won a lot of battles.
Right.
And there's no doubt the water. Let me get that. Yeah. There's no doubt that he went through battle and he's won a whole ton of battles, right? A whole ton of battles. And even though he's won a whole ton of battles, there was no way that that people were going to get the best of him. Now, if you're in a whole ton of battles, you can kind of, I ain't gonna say kind of, you can definitely see who you're up against. You can definitely see who you're up against and who is, the competition. Who is the competition and who can actually, give you a challenge. And who is, light work, as they say. Wow. You can definitely see who's the light work and who is actual, the water. Who is the light work and who is the actual, challenge there. And he's seen Israel and he thought that we was just light work. He thought the whole nation was just light work. The water. He thought the whole nation was just light work. And he said, appreciate it. And he said, who are you to set your battle, to set your people in array against me, against, and he even say against, the nation of the Philistines, he didn't even say that. He just said against me. Can you give me a little bit more about Kashaw? Yeah. He didn't even say that. He wasn't even talking about his people. He was talking about himself. The water. Appreciate it. Nah, we good for right now. So he was talking about that. And hold on, where is it? That was verse 8. Read that verse 8, Baba Kashaw.
Verse 8. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose ye a man for you, and let him come down to me.
So he said he issued a challenge out to all of Israel. He issued a challenge to all of the men that is under Saul's army, right? And he says, choose your best man. Choose somebody. Choose your champion, right? Keep reading.
And if he be able to fight with me,
right,
and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us.
So he issued a challenge out to the whole nation of Israel, to all of the men in Saul's army, saying, if you choose a person, one of your best, whoever it is, to fight me, if you win and kill me, my whole nation, my whole army will be your servant. Now, just think, someone of that stature. When I say stature, I'm not talking about just the physical stature, but the stature, his reputation. You think he's not the commander of that army? He's not the leader of that army. He had to. I would think. The water. You would think that he would have to okay that, just given off of how the way rank and order works. He's not the leader of that army. He would have to get permission in order to issue that challenge. So his higher ups, the men who is over him, just given off of rank and order, people who's over him did not have faith and confidence that he could whoop everybody. Because up until this point, he's never lost a battle. He's never lost. So if he can whoop everybody, his people were comfortable with him issuing that ultimatum. And he issued this ultimatum for days and days. I forget how long. It's going to say how long, but he issued this ultimatum, and Saul and all the men who heard it were shook. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. They scared to death, right? Let's read.
And the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
They were what?
They were dismayed and greatly afraid.
All of them were dismayed and greatly afraid. But isn't Saul the Lord's anointed? Saul is the Lord's anointed. He anointed him king over Israel. Who is going to defy Israel at any point? As long as we're obeying the Most High God, we should have nothing to fear. We should have nothing to fear. We shouldn't fear some stinking Hamite. Doesn't matter how big he is. No, it doesn't matter what his reputation is. Doesn't matter how many people he's canceled life subscriptions. Doesn't matter. The Father we fear. We don't fear these people. We don't fear anybody except the Father, right? Keep reading.
Now David was the son of that Ephraim.
What verse are you at?
Verse 12.
So okay. Keep reading.
Now David was the son of that Ephraim of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse. And he had 8 sons, and the man went among men. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul.
Right. Keep reading.
And the 3 elder sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and next unto him Abinadab, and the third Shema. Verse 14. And David was the youngest, and the 3 elders followed Saul. Right.
All right. So Jesse had what? 11 sons. What did it say? 8. He had 8 sons. So like he said, he had 8 sons. 3 oldest were went into Saul's army. The youngest being David. Right. Youngest being David. We're gonna learn more about David. Right. Keep reading. And his attitude.
Verse 15. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep.
Right. Someone had to tend to the family business. Right. There's 3 oldest went into war. And someone had to, step up and fill those shoes. Right. Keep reading.
And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days.
40 days in the morning and at night. Talking that talk. Why? Because right at this point, whoever tried to attack the other had the high ground. So if anybody knows anything about battle, you would want to be on the high ground when you're when you're attacking. You wouldn't want to be on the low ground trying to take the high ground. It may work, but the probability of it working is not great. Why? So he issued this ultimatum. Boom. Just one-on-one combat, and whoever wins, winner takes all, essentially. Right. So he did this 40 days for 40 days, and that I just noticed that 40 days, right? He did this for 40 days, day and night. He went and made this challenge, and for 40 days and 40 nights, he had niggas scared. He had niggas shook. Brothers seen that who've been in battle, who won battles, were shook. And like I said, if you are at war, you're expecting the probability of you may die in war, in battle. So why are they scared of this? Why is that? Right? Let's keep reading. And moreover, Saul didn't show any sort of courage. And one of the reasons why Saul was made king over Israel was his stature. He had a great stature. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no I'm not saying anything, against Slider brothers, but he had great stature. He was tall, he was, he was built, and people looked up to him. If you know anything about Israel is very carnal. They, whatever they see with their eyes, they think the most of. And Saul, he may not have been as big as Goliath, but he still had that stature among his peers. Well, he wasn't his peers now, but before he was king, he had that reputation. He was that nigga. And he showed cowardice. If your king is showing cowardice, how else is who else is gonna show, who else is gonna step up and show some sort of courage? Right. So because the king was showing cowardice, the whole army was showing the same thing. Keep reading.
And Jesse said unto David's son, take now for thy brother an ephah of this parched corn and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brother.
Right. So his father told him, bring some food to your brothers. Right. Keep reading.
And carry these 10 cheeses unto the captain of their 1,000, and look how thy brethren fed, and take their pledge.
So he's saying, and also not only to your brother, take these to the men over him. Take these victuals to the men over him and see how your brothers are doing. And if they need anything, ask them whatever they need and bring that back to me, and we're going to get them what they need. Right? Keep reading.
Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper, and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight, and shouted for the battle.
Right.
But Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army.
Right. So all right. So they fight. Now you can fight it. You fight in a war and whatnot. They know that there's a like I said, there's a chance of being injured or killed. Now they can do this, but they can't fight one-on-one for all the marbles. For all the marbles, say they have what's the brother's name? Kobe Bryant coined the phrase "mama mentality," that killer instinct. Not everybody has that killer instinct. Wants that pressure on them. Not everybody should have that pressure on them. There's only but a certain few that can have that pressure on them and survive. The main person that we should look to is Commanding General Yahanna. Do you know how much pressure Commanding General Yahanna has had on him since he joined? Since he had the school, all those years he was studying up under the 7 heads to gain the knowledge in order to uphold this nation as long as he did, and he's still doing it. He has that Mamba mentality. It should be renamed Commander General Yahanna mentality, because he has that killer instinct. You know what I'm saying? And he learned that killer instinct from the 7 heads, who learned it from people like David, who learned it from people like from what's that brother's name? What's that brother's name? Not Joab. Joab. Is it Joab? Not Joab. It's not. That's his his right hand man. The brother who had the 300 soldiers that all drank from their hands. What's his name? What's that brother's name? Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I was about to go to him today as well. But or how about Joshua? He had that killer instinct, that killer mentality. Moses had that killer instinct, that mentality. All the prophets, Christ had that killer instinct, has that killer instinct, that mentality. How about this? What's that?
Jeroboam was in Judges. It's in Judges chapter 7. Chelsea is Jeroboam.
No, it's not Jeroboam. So like it's Judges 6. He's in Judges 6 with the Midianites.
Right.
Gideon.
I see Gideon. I'm sitting there thinking.
It was Gideon, right? Who he had that killer instinct, that Mamba mentality. He didn't show any cowardice, and because of that, we remember Gideon. How about oh man, the Maccabees? What's Mattathias? He had that killer instinct. He showed courage, and the men who followed him up into the wilderness. And now we remember Mattathias and his sons and all the men that followed him up into the wilderness. How about there because there was some other people that got some courage that didn't follow him. And what did they do? Do we know their names?
Right.
Nope. But we know how they died.
Right.
We know how they died. They died like cowards.
Right.
Why do I say that? Because when the Greek armies came to fight them, what did they do? They said, we're not going to fight you on the Sabbath day. Right. And they all got slaughtered, all of them. Courage is contagious, and so is cowardice. Let's go back to 1 Samuel 17. Where you at?
I was on verse 22.
All right.
1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 22. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage.
Yeah, carriage.
Carriage, and ran into the army and came and saluted his brothers.
Right? He ran to the army, saluted his brothers, right? Keep going.
And as he talked with them, behold, there came up to the champion, the Philistine of Gad, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words. And David heard him. So
he heard the words that this stinking Hamite was talking. He didn't know anything about it because while he wasn't on the front line, he was home tending to his father's work. Right? He came to the camp where his brothers were, and as he was talking with them, he heard this stinking Hamite. Issue, a challenge. How dare he? Who the hell he think he is? Issuing a challenge to the Israelites. Right? Keep reading.
And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him.
They fled, and they were scared. Courage is contagious, and so is cowardice. Good thing David wasn't infected with cowardice. It's a good thing. He had courage. The one man in this whole army right here, king included, he was the only one that was courageous. He was the only one that knew who's the power. He remembered who's his power, who's the power of Israel. Keep reading.
And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that has come up?
I don't give a guy. Wait, I'm supposed to put fear in my heart? That's basically they're trying. These men. Now. Remember this. These are supposed battle hardened men who was in the army. I say supposed because they talking like little yitches. That's how they talking. Then now he's saying, they're saying, have you seen this cat? Have you seen this Goliath cat? This African? He's a giant. Not only is he a giant, but he's a champion. He's slaying a whole ton of people. He got bodies, legit bodies. And he's talking about, whoever wins a one-on-one with him, he wants to shoot the fade. He wants a one-on-one. Whoever wins the one-on-one is gonna come away with not only the dub, but whoever wins gets to take the other army into captivity. That's what they're telling them, right? Keep reading.
Surely to defy Israel is he come up, and it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel.
So he's saying, now King Saul put a hit on put a price. I ain't even like now that I really know what that means. I don't even like saying that. You know what I mean? Right. But Saul told everybody, anybody kills him, I'm gonna do this. You gonna be rich. Your father's house is gonna be rich. Your father's house is gonna be free. You can have my daughter. What else?
It will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel.
So he's giving them he's giving whoever kills Goliath all this glory, right? And if you marry one of his daughters, you're a part of his family now. So he's giving that honor to him, right? To whoever would kill Goliath. Now it's been 40 days and 40 nights, and not near a person stepped up and tried to claim this victory. Let's keep reading.
And David spake to the men that stood by him.
This young man, this teenager, who is not who is not, tested and, one-on-one combat like that. He's fought bears, he's fought, lions to keep his father's sheep herd safe. He's done that, but he hasn't killed a man. That's something a little different. Something a little different. But if you can, go one-on-one, toe-to-toe with a beast like that, I don't know. It's still different. Well, let's keep reading.
And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel?
And taketh away the shame away from Israel. Right now, because right now, everybody's talking crap about, Israel. Everybody in the surrounding lands know that Israel's doing battle with the Philistines, and Israel is scared of this one man. Israel's scared of this one man. Now it's a battle. Now, if anybody seen those old, medieval battles? It's a whole bunch of people lined up, coming together, and meeting on the battlefield. Jump this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Just jump him. You got a whole army. They got a whole army. Come on. Let's all fight. But nah. They just talking crap. He's talking crap. Everybody in the surrounding areas know what's going on. Now he's saying, who's going to kill this stinking Hamite and take the the stain, the blot off of Israel right now? Keep going.
For who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
Who is this Bassett talking? Who is this guy? Who is this? Whose man's is this? Keep reading.
That he should defy the armies of the living God.
That he should defy the armies of the living God. Now he knows the Father we fear. He's not old enough to join the army, but he's old enough to know who's his power and who he should fear. And that stinking Hamite talking all that crap should not be the one that should be feared. Keep reading.
And the people answered him after this manner.
So it's the people. It's not just one person saying this, because the whole entire camp is infected with cowardice. The people are answering him. It's not you ever said something and then, you know, how about this? You go into a spot and you say something controversial, like Drake is the best rapper in the world, or LeBron is the best, you know, basketball player, or even more controversial, Eminem is the illest MC. What's gonna happen? You go into the barbershop and you say that, what's gonna happen? Everybody and their mom is gonna turn around and say something. Everybody's gonna say something. That's exactly what's happening right here. He's saying, who's gonna kill this stinking Hamite, this bastard? And then when he says that, everybody was like, whoa, and then, you know, come against him, basically. Keep reading.
And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men. And Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why camest thou down hither?
So he is mad at his brother for being courageous, for being a man, for being more courageous than him. And he got mad at that courage. He got mad at that courage. Because we get a lot of that stuff. I remember when I first joined the camp and I was telling people that I'm going on the corner and saying the white man's the devil, and people were mad at me. Like, why are you going to do that? They're mad at courage. Why? Because the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And our people, more than anybody else, needs to know that. The white man already knows he's the devil. Our oppressor already knows that he's a liar, a deceiver. He already knows this. Our people don't know this. So we need to wake our people up by telling them straight up. All right, keep reading.
Okay. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men. And Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart. For thou come down that thou mightest see the battle.
So he's saying, man, why are you here? And who's tending to the sheep?
Right.
I know why you here, because you just want to cause some ruckus. You just want to cause some trouble. You just want to see the battle. That's why you here. Right? Keep reading.
And David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? So
he's saying, what now? Meaning, this is not the first time he's had this conversation with his brother or any of his other brothers. He was like, come on, man, what I do now? And only thing he did was tell the truth. Whenever you tell the truth, whenever you tell the truth, people is always going to be someone to come up against you. Right? Keep reading.
And he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him.
So what was going on? He kept asking people, yo, who's going to kill this bastard? Who is going to take the reproach away from Israel? Who's going to do it? And he said it so much that the buzz went around, the camp, and Saul, the king, it got to Saul. So once it actually got to Saul, he, it was rehearsed. When it said it was rehearsed, they reacted. Hey, man, I was out, I was out, with the men, and this young boy over here, this young bull came over here talking you woo 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 woo, and then he's like, all this, got rehearsed in front of the king Saul, and let's keep reading.
And Saul said to David, thou art not able.
So hold on. He sent for him. He heard this because, like I said, it made a buzz. He heard it. He like, go get the young bull. Go get him. Let me holler at him real quick. Let me test. Let me test his temperature and see if he's real about this. Right? Keep reading.
And Saul said to David, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth."
Wait, hold on. Where are you?
Verse 33.
Read verse 32, Baruch.
Verse 32. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight."
Well, hold on. Read that 32 one more time.
First Samuel chapter 17, verse 32. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him."
No, it should be Salak.
Yeah, verse 32.
Hold on, Salak, yeah. Let me see which. Yeah, I'm at 32.
First Samuel, right?
First Samuel.
First
17.
Samuel, 17.
32.
Year 17, chapter 17.
Okay. No, because it has a apostrophe, not apostrophe, a comma here on here. It says, "Let no man's heart fail because of him."
And verse 32.
Yeah.
Hold on. Right, that's a monster.
With the comma in there?
Comma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, all right, just
verse 32, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and David said to Saul, comma, "Let no man's heart fail because of him," semicolon.
All right, yeah, because I have let no man's heart fail, comma, because of him. All right, no sweat. Keep reading.
And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine."
So he said, "Hey, don't be scared. I'm gonna go and handle this. Light work. That's all this is. Light work." Keep reading.
And Saul said to David, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth."
Man, you just a young boy. How you gonna go and fight this battle-hardened warrior? He's a champ. He's not just a warrior. He's a champion. He has many bodies on him. He's done that. He lives this life. This is his job. This is what he does.
Right.
He goes out and kills niggas.
Right.
You just a young boy. You never been in battle before. Keep reading.
And he, a man of war from his youth.
And he's been doing this since he was your age. Since he was a young boy, he was doing this, killing people. Keep reading.
And David said unto Saul, "Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock.
Right.
And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth."
So he said, when I was, tending to my father's sheep, a lion and a bear came after my father's sheep, and I went after them. He didn't say me and my brothers and my servants, we all ganged up. He says, I went after him. I went after him and killed him and took it from his mouth. If anybody, I don't know if anybody's ever been, around a lion, but if you hear a lion roar, you kind of pucker up. You know what I'm saying? If you hear a lion roar, even behind a cage or some, 5 foot of glass, you hear a lion roar. That's a different story. I'm too wild. That's a different story. Just a lion roaring. And if you know how lions are, what, I want to say about 600 pounds and can move like that. I once saw a video of a lion that was getting too close to a village and whatnot. So these hunters were tracking it, and it was in like real high grass, right? And they were tracking it, and they found out, like, oh crap, we're in a circle. Now we don't know where the lion is. We don't know where the lion is. So everybody was like on the lookout, like, oh man, we gotta, figure out where this is, or get the hell up out of here.
Right.
They said, look, the lion's over there. You couldn't see the lion because it was in tall grass. It was 3 men lined up, right? And the lion, I crap you not. Lion was out of frame. It took about 3 gallops, and you see the lion, you know, the first guy shot, the second guy shot, they missed him. And the third guy, you know, he was still, you know, aiming. And then you see him, and he like leaped up, tried to get the dude, shot him square in the head. But it took like 2 seconds from being far off into nowhere into about to, you know, land for the kill. If that dude missed, that one guy would have been gone. Would have been gone. It would have been lights out. But he was steady, and he shot that line, and it went slow-mo. You saw it like open up, it leapt up, and you saw it in slow mo. It leapt up, he opened his mouth, and then you see the moment of impact, and then the lights went out. And then he just fell. And he fell like right at the dude's feet. Now you talking about a lion? And he did this by himself. And then a bear. A bear ain't no punk either. And he killed. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You think so? I don't know. Well, maybe a grizzly, but yeah. Grizzly bears, man. Each of them damn claws be like this big. It'll slap you and knock your whole face off. They are strong. I ain't gonna hold you. They are strong. But David killed each of them by himself. Keep reading. Verse 34, yeah.
34, 35.
35, yeah.
Verse 35, and I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard.
By his beard. Come on, man. And when he arose, I caught him. He was like, hey, nigga, what you doing? What you doing? Now keep reading.
And smote him.
And smote him and killed him.
And slew him.
And killed him. And killed him. Yo, a lion coming at you. Boom. And you grab him by the hairs of his chin. And then killed him. Come on, man. People can't even do that with dogs. He did it with a lion. Keep reading.
Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised
and this stinking clicking uncircumcised dirty African booty scratcher. Keep reading.
Shall be as one of them.
I laid them down. I put them in the dirt. This cat gonna be in the dirt. Keep reading. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Sounds like a smart comment. I mean, we'll see. Snipes William said, "What country has both lions and bears?" It sounds like you're trying to discredit the Bible. But question was, what country has both lions and bears?
Country where David's in, Israel. That's where it has both lions and bears. Shoot, America has lions and bears.
Yep. Go to the zoo.
I'm not talking about the zoo. I'm talking about, like mountain lions. Some big ass cats. Right? Keep reading.
Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he had defied the armies of the living God.
And the reason why he's going to be like one of them, because he's defying the armies of the living God. He's trying to come up against the Most High God. That's why he's going to be in the dirt. Keep reading.
David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. So
the Most High God is my power. Yeah. The Father I fear. You think I didn't kill that lion and that bear because I'm smart or I'm agile or whatever, or any of that, or I'm battle tested, I'm battle hardened. It's because the Most High allowed it to happen, right? Keep going.
And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord will be with thee.
So he's saying, all right,
And the Lord be with thee.
And the Lord be with thee. He's saying, go ahead. I know you know the Lord is with you. Why? Because just the way he's talking. Now he's putting faith. He's not putting faith in David. He's putting faith in the Most High God. Right? Keep reading.
And Saul armed David with his armor and put an helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor. And he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him.
So he's saying, what verse you at?
Verse 49.
49?
Verse 49.
49. All right. So he's saying, Saul put all his armor on him. And he's saying, you know what? I ain't even try to use this stuff. So I'm not, because I haven't used this stuff, I'm not going to use it now when arguably the biggest battle of my life is. I'm going to go with what I know. I'm going to go with what I know. So he took all his armor, he took all that armor off. Right? Keep reading.
And he took his staff in his hand.
He took his staff, he had a stick.
And chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook.
Uh-huh.
And put them in his shepherd's bag, which he had.
Right, keep reading.
Even in a scrip. And as his sling was in his hand, he drew near to the Philistine.
So he had a sling and a stick. Yeah, sling, a stick, and 5 smooth rocks. That was his weapons. Keep reading.
And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David. And the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him.
He said, what? You serious? I issued a challenge and you're going to do this to me? Keep reading.
For he was but a youth and ruddy and of a fair countenance.
And that doesn't mean he was white. That means he was young. He was young. Right? Keep reading.
He tried to, Snipes Williams tried to say my point was the territory or region they were in. Israel doesn't have lions and bears.
What you think Israel is not Israel. Israel is a whole wider land that encompasses 4 major rivers. Right. The Nile, the Euphrates, what's the other 2? Basically, okay, so if you look at the map, you're looking at like yeah, exactly. Yeah. Damn near the whole Middle East. Look, I can't see those rivers.
Cut off right now on that map. But I mean it goes over on the far left. So on that map it's I gotta go there, point to it, but
it's not just that little sliver of land over there.
He said Africa has both lions and bears. Okay.
So what do you so all right, I'm a bite. So what's the point of you saying that? I'm trying to understand this. Snipes Williams, you're saying that because what are you saying? I don't get what you're saying. While he's typing that in.
Tigris, all why'd you name the other 2 rivers? Tigris and Euphrates. So you say Euphrates.
Tigris and Euphrates, yeah. So if you look at that whole area where the Nile, the Tigris, the Euphrates, and what I said, what was the other one?
Tigris, Euphrates, the Nile, and then there's one more.
If you look at that whole area, that's Israel. That whole swath of land is Israel, right? Let's keep reading.
Okay. And the Philistine said unto David, "Am I a dog?"
Yes, you are. But keep reading.
That thou comest to me with staves. And the Philistine cursed David by his gods.
By his Yeah. So what? Who cares? Who cares if you curse us by your false gods? It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean a damn thing. But yes, you are a dog. You are an uncircumcised heathen. You're a filthy, rotten, disgusting Hamite. Keep reading.
And the Philistine said to David, "Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field." Then said David to the Philistine.
Now, hold up. Before he says this, now, just imagine how his voice is, because he came before the army and blurted it out, and the whole army heard this, right? The whole army heard this. Now he's standing before a giant of a man, and he's talking this talk to him, and the whole army before heard all these other words, and they cowered and feared. David heard these words, and this is what David had to say to him.
Thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts.
I come to thee in the name of the Most High God, and He is the commander of armies. Right? Keep going.
The God of the armies of Israel.
Right?
Whom thou hast defied.
Now he's saying you got all this stuff, but I have the power. I have the truth. All you got is dirt and funk. Keep going.
This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee.
So he says you're going to die tonight. You are going to absolutely 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, die tonight. Now, like I said, the other people heard Goliath, saw Goliath, and heard his words and cowered. David came face to face with them, seen him, heard his words, and said, "You're going to die tonight. You are going to absolutely die tonight." And what else is he going to do? Keep going.
And I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air. And
your people are going to die tonight. I'm going to cut your head off, and your people are going to die as well. Keep reading.
And to the wild beasts of earth, that all the earth may know that there's a God in Israel.
Y'all people ain't just going to die. The beasts of the field are going to eat you. And because of this, everybody going to know that God is with Israel. Keep reading.
And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. So
this is how we're going to win, because of the Most High God. And he's given all the power and the glory to the Most High God. He's not even saying I'm going to do this because, I killed a lion, I killed a bear, and what are you? No, he's saying the Most High, I'm going to kill him because you defy the Most High God, and the Most High God is going to deliver all you stinking, wicked, filthy, disgusting Hamites, and all you going to die by the hands of the Most High God. Right? Keep going.
And it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David.
So he said, now they're about to square up. This is what's going on. They're squaring up. David ain't running, right? Or is he?
Right.
Keep reading.
That David hasted.
He what?
That David hasted. And ran toward the army.
Away from him.
Toward the army.
He ran towards him. So they're about to square up, and what does David do? Ran towards the army of the Philistine, where the stinking Hamite is. He didn't run away. He ran towards. He charged them. Keep reading.
To meet the Philistine, and David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it.
So he's saying, you mean to tell me he didn't, first load his ammo and start, going for it? He just ran at him and did it on the run, which means to show he's done this before. If anybody's ever shot, a weapon, it's one thing to shoot stationary, boom, 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 whatever. And it's another thing to shoot on the go, shoot on the move, and hit your target. That is a whole different skill and asset that it can be taught. But if you do not do it, you're not gonna be able to do it consistently and proficiently. So he knew what he was doing. He ran towards him, and then slang his slang, and then what? Keep going.
And smote the Philistine in his forehead.
So he shot a bullet straight in his forehead. That's what it was. Like if anybody knows anything about physics, you throw something, you can throw it far, right? But if you like actually run and then throw it, you can get even farther. Just think of the javelin throwers in the Olympics. What do? They get like a running start and then throw it. Why? Because it goes further. That momentum makes it goes farther. And that momentum that he had 5 stones. He only had 5 shots. And then he had a stick if them shots, missed. He only needed one of them to do what he said he was going to do. Keep reading.
And smote the Philistine in his forehead,
Mm-hmm.
that the stone sunk into his forehead.
That stone sunk into his forehead. Keep reading.
And he fell upon his face to the earth.
And then he fell on his face. He fell on it, boom, and then fell on his face. Right? Keep reading. That's not all. Because he said he was going to do something, and he'd be a liar if he didn't do it.
So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him,
and killed him.
But there was no sword in the hand of David.
Now he said at the beginning he's going to cut his head off. How's he going to cut his head off if he ain't got no sword? Remember, Saul gave him his sword, but he was like, I haven't proved these things. So he left the sword. All he had was a stick, a sling, and 5 rocks. And he said he was going to cut his head off. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He didn't knock him out. He killed him. He killed him with that stone, that well-aimed stone to the forehead. Keep reading.
And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled.
They what?
They fled.
Cowardice is contagious. Cowardice is contagious, and courage is also contagious. Keep reading.
And the men of Israel, Judah, arose and shouted.
Hold on. Read verse 51.
Now, verse 51. Verse 51. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith.
And cut his head off with his own sword. Yo, that's something else. You you take the man's weapon from them and use it on them. That's tough. That's tough right there. Right? Keep reading.
And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled.
And when they saw that their champion was dead, their courage fled from them. And they ran. Like I said earlier, cowardice is contagious. One dude started running, all of them started running. Courage is contagious. That's right. David killed their champion. And then what did Israel do? Keep reading.
And Israel, and the men of Israel and of Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistines until thou come to the valley and to the gates of Ekron. And the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way to Sharon, even unto Gath.
Damn, they ran all the way back to Gath. Keep going.
And the children of Israel returned from chasing after the Philistines, and they spoiled their tents. So
they chased them and killed whoever they can catch. And then they came back and spoiled their tents. What does it mean to spoil their tents? They took everything from them. Because they wasn't coming back to, to gather their things and be out. No, they ran away. But hold up. What was the promise that Goliath had said? If you kill me, we'll serve you. But these niggas are some dirty bastard rotten liars. What did they do? They ran when they saw their champion fall. They didn't even stay to fight. Like, well, all right, well, we'll still. Nah, they ran.
That's like how these cats be when they head honcho is talking about, man, we all ready to die. So in the background, like,
yeah, they're like, what you talking about?
In the back, like, what you say? Like, you ready to die? We
ready
to die. God.
Keep reading. Let's finish this out.
God. And David took the head of the Philistine and brought it to Jerusalem, but he put his armor in his tent. And when Saul saw David go forth against the Philistine, he said unto Abner, the captain of the host, Abner, whose son is this youth? And Abner said, as thy soul liveth, O king, I cannot tell.
No one even know who this young boy was. No one knew who it was. Right? Keep reading.
And the king said, inquire And the king said, inquire thou whose son the stripling is. And as David returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, Abner took him.
The way, hold on. As they returned, because he didn't stop. He was like, oh, I'm going to get some more. I'm going to get some more. There's a song, if you read later on, Saul king killed his thousands and David killed his 10,000. This is the beginning of it, right? Keep reading.
Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the head of the Philistine in his hand.
With the head of the Philistine in his hand. Good night. Just look at that image. This young cat, how all the hosts of the armies of Israel was scared to go up against Goliath. He said he was talking crap to Goliath, and he got like, let me at him. Give me a chance to go put this dude to death. He did it, and he came back with the head of Goliath. He was carrying around the head of Goliath. Now just think, even if someone, goes out and kills someone, you think, just to go out and carry the head? Let everybody know that he killed this stinking heathen. And he kept his armor for himself. He drug back all that heavy behind armor and kept it for himself. Keep reading.
And Saul said to him, whose son art thou young man? And David answered, I am the son of thy servant Jesse, the Bethlehemite. So
he told him whose son he was and whatnot. But all in all, this goes to show you that cowardice is contagious, right. And so is courage. Right. So is courage. Just like that young bull who swam across that channel, who swam across from the boat to the dock. That was the call to I won't even say that was a call to arms, but that was a show of courage that boosted, that put a battery in a lot of other brothers' backs. Like, man, we tired of this. And who better to know about this crap than the men and women, because the women got it in too. The women got it in too. But the people from the South, Jim Crow has officially went away a long time ago. I ain't even gonna say a long time ago, but went away a couple decades ago. But they still remember it, and there's still a legacy of Jim Crow in the South. So they know who the enemy is. They know what happened to their parents, most likely, and their grandparents. So when they got a chance to stick up for their brother who was just doing his job, all it took was one brother to show courage, and that became contagious. That became contagious. If you want to be strict or infected, I ain't even gonna say infected. If you want to be courageous and you don't know how to be courageous, if you're a man, get in. If you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native American man, get in all black and sit in class. We'll teach you how to be courageous. If you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native American woman, put a dress on and wrap your head and get in class, and we'll teach you how to be courageous as well. Why? Because there's only one example of true masculinity in this world, and that's in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yahanna. And with that, I pass the class to Priest and Officer Barack.
All right. Security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves of the word. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. TITHES, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. In the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you get to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. We were offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. The upcoming holy convocation, we got the Day of Atonement, the 10th day, right, Salakia. the memorial of the blowing of trumpets, the first day of the 7th month, which is Friday, September 15th of this year. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verses 24 and 25. Following that, you have the Day of Atonement, which is the 10th day of the 7th month, which will be Sunday, the 24th of September, in Leviticus chapter 23, verses 27 through 32. Of course, following that, we got a major event going on in the United Kingdom. Commander Yahanna is hosting the Feast of Tabernacles out there in the United Kingdom. You understand, with the brothers and sisters out there. The itinerary has now been put out to all of the events that will take place down in the UK that will be on the weekend of September 28th all the way up until that Tuesday. You want to check online for the itinerary, whatever city you're in, stay in close contact with your camp leader regarding, you understand, transportation, housing, money, affairs, all those things are in a line so you can, you understand, get your funds together to be able to make that high holy day that's going to be held down there. Once again, that will be the Feast of Tabernacles. Of course, we got the cookouts that's knocking out the entire world right now. Next up, we got New York on the East Coast. New York, we're going to be out there. You understand, this month, the dates and the details are going to be put out. Once again, stay in close contact with your camp leader over your city or zone so you can get further details. And of course, that itinerary will be put out, you understand, very soon. That cookout will be held this month. So just stay aware, stay online, you understand, for that information to be put out. You understand? Also tonight at 9 p.m., you got about 15 minutes to get yourself situated, get your popcorn, your head wraps, your head scarves, everything in line. Commander Yahanna is going to be going live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on America on Fire, the Black Watch News. You understand? Commander Yahanna once again going live in about 15 minutes on America on Fire, Black Watch News. Check it out on the YouTube. Check it out on the TikTok. Check it all out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Get in that comment section. Run the comment section up. Run them likes up. You understand? Remind Akim and Akwathian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for any ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black cape, and a scarf. And with that, I say Amajim, which means to stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Amadi Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Yahweh Shabbat, Yahweh Class dismissed.
Commanding General Yahanna will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle. Finally, the truth about King James, a black man who helped to preserve and safeguard the Bible. Live September 29th, 2023. Commanding General Yahanna live at King James Castle in Scotland. Come on down and support the I.S.U.P.K. UK. Lift the glass, come and join the brotherhood and drink with the ancient as we celebrate and keep the Feast of Tabernacles for our King Yahweh in King James Castle, bringing his crew of heavy hitters. Commanding General Yahanna will put 12 chill General Mahaiman scripture breakdown class up against anyone, against any biblical scholar, untested, unchallenged, I.S.U.P.K, undefeated. Leviticus chapter 23, the Feast of Tabernacles in a black man's castle, hosted in Scotland, the United Kingdom, UK. Commanding General Yahanna will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle, Thursday, September 28th, Scripture Breakdown Class. Friday, September 29th, there will be a King James Castle tour, also a Johnny Walker Distillery tour, and Friday night, the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles. Saturday, September 30th, we will have camp on the streets of England. Sunday, October 1st, the UK Cookout. Monday, October 2nd, the Warwickshire Castle Tour. I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yahanna at King James Castle in England. This is an absolutely monumental, historical event. Wham Yasha'Allah, Yasha'Allah,
Want
Yasha'Allah.
us to stop. But man, don't we deserve a shot? Don't we deserve a shot to be the Lord's people? Israel, let's do it!